Aye, shepherd's pie, greetings from the Philippines. I'm in the Rumbo again, sitting down with my new friend Robert. Um, Robert's an interesting chap. We're going to have a chat in a minute about finances, but in the interest of transparency, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this interview. I saw Robert, must be a few years back now, he did an interview for the channel Vagabond Awake. And he was saying that he lived for some ridiculously low figure of, I think it was something like $675 or $800 or something like that. And I watched it and I thought, that's bullshit. He's either making it up or he has the most miserable existence possible. He never goes out, he can't do anything. Then when I got to Sick Hill, I saw this man out night after night after night, enjoying himself. And believe me, when he goes out, he enjoys himself. So I thought, right, we're going to have to sit down and talk about his finances. How does he manage to live such a full life on such a low budget? So, thanks for sitting down, Robert. It's lovely to, very kind of you.
Yeah, it's very
to
good
do
to be
it.
here.
A lovely day in the old Rumba. Beautiful weather. You're from America.
I am from America.
Whereabouts?
I'm from the state of Montana.
State of Montana.
It's in the northwest, and it's cowboy country.
I've been to a few states, but I don't think I've been there. Is it
Yeah.
a nice state to live in?
Very nice.
Okay. So why aren't you there now?
Huh?
What brought you to the Philippines?
Because I've wanted to come to the Philippines for over 20 years. I decided this was going to be my retirement spot.
So had you been here before?
I've been here before.
So you'd been here on holiday and you knew you
Yeah,
wanted to
I've
come
been
back?
here on holiday, and I just happened to meet a person that lived here, and she brought me to Sigio the first time, and I just absolutely fell in love with it.
Okay.
And I decided after 2 trips here and exploring the whole island and meeting the people that this was going to be home.
What was it about Sikihor that what was the thing that immediately grabbed you to
It
it?
was the quiet pace of life, and rent's cheap, cost of living is cheap, the people are super friendly.
Now that's what I was getting at. I always say to people, first thing that hit me with Sikihor was the people, the
People
friendliest I've met in the world.
They're the most friendly people, and all my neighbors, it's just like you fit right in. And I just couldn't feel more at home than with these people here. It's just like I'm part of the family.
Well, you're a very popular guy, Robert. I can vouch for that. So how long have you actually been here?
15 months.
15 months, okay.
I got here in October of 2022.
So tell us about your lifestyle then. Tell us about your expenses. Where do you? Because I know where you're living now. You're living down in a house down near Coconut Grove, aren't you?
Yeah, I live near Coconut Grove. It's called Opao Tubod, and it's a small barangay, and it's very, very quiet neighborhood. We do have chickens, just like everywhere else. Alarm clock at 4 o'clock in the morning. You just can't avoid that, which no problem. You get used to it. But it's a very quiet neighborhood. It's in a compound with 2 houses in front and 4 apartments in the back. And they're all modern apartments, so I have all amenities. And just like living in an apartment in the U.S.
Just out of interest, the apartment you're living in now, was that the apartment you were living in when you were talking to Dan? Or did you
Yes.
move? Yeah, no, okay.
The same apartment.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not leaving that one. It was a gold mine.
Where were you living before then? Where were you
That was
living
my
before?
first one.
Okay, you didn't, right.
I was here, I had connections here through the Marco Polo restaurant. That's basically my friends from before. And she's my neighbor now that lives there in the back in a separate house. After 4 days, I found this apartment.
Oh, lucky man.
Yeah, I was very lucky.
I'm struggling to find one, as you know.
Yeah. You gotta have connections, man.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I've only been back 2 days, mate. I've asked
Yep.
around. I think I might have got one now. But JJ's is a good place to network.
It is, very good, very good.
So it's a 1-bedroom place, is it?
It's a 1-bedroom and CR and a kitchen and dining room and living room combined. And I have a porch on the front that's very long. You know, it's my terrace. It's, you know, like from here to there, you know, about meter, 2 meters maybe, oh, not quite, and protected from the sun,
Nice.
except late afternoon. It kind of glares in. That my landlord is the best on this island. She has
Fantastic.
done everything. Anytime I have a problem, she fixes it. And if anything comes up, I said, well, she knows that my paydays are on different days. And so she works with me on that. She knows what week it comes in, but it's not always going to be on the same day. So she said, that's fine, that's fine.
Is she married?
Oh yeah, she is.
Okay, because everyone always says, it's a funny thing, like, the landlord's always the lady. They never talk about the man, so my lady,
Oh.
the landlord is here.
Oh, he's really cool too. He comes and fixes this stuff.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So how much are you
And
paying for that?
I pay 9,000 pesos, which is about 175 US.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
And my electric runs. I don't run my air conditioner anymore because I'm used to the climate. I just have a fan that I run sometimes if it's really, really hot. I can sleep with the fan now. I don't even run my air conditioner. So my electric is less than 1,000 pesos
1,000 pesos.
a month.
And how much is your water?
And it's 350 pesos.
So really, you're like the accommodation side. Is your Wi-Fi included?
No, Wi-Fi, I got high-speed Wi-Fi, the best, 200 megabytes per second. And I pay a little bit more for that. And it's about 2,099 pesos. So it's a little bit higher, more than other people pay, but I wanted a good connection.
And
You know,
it
without
is good.
interruption.
It is good, is it?
It's very good.
I'll have to think about getting that then.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, do you have any other like living bills in terms of like we covered your electric, we covered your
That's
internet.
it. That's all. Only other thing I have is food, which I'm by myself. And when I first got here, I went out a lot, just to discover different restaurants, and I spent way too much money. And then I decided, well, it's time to discover all the different places to shop and buy food and cook for myself. And so I learned how to buy enough stuff that it lasts me for the month, and I can still go out once a week and have a a nice dinner somewhere.
Once a week.
Yeah, once a week. Sometimes two, sometimes twice, but
So-
you get those urges. I gotta have a hamburger.
Where do you go for a good hamburger?
Where to go for a good hamburger? There's 3 places. The El Cafe, the new one just down shortly from here. Casa James, up on the hill, and also the Cockatoo is restaurant down here. It's a Canadian chef that owns the place and opened up a restaurant, and it's very, very good.
I'm very glad I asked you that question.
Yep.
Because I'm interviewing someone at Casa James later in the week.
Okay.
I will have my lunch there.
They have English breakfasts, and which I had never heard of. Another item on the English breakfast is bangers and mash.
Yeah.
I learned what that was. I had never heard of that in my life. And the old English gentleman that was sitting there, he explained to me why it was called that. It's from World War II.
So presumably they've got
You know.
got English owners, have they?
Yeah. Michael is from Northern England, and he's got a little goatee like a Viking. I said he's Viking descent.
Oh,
So,
I know Michael. I know
Yeah,
Michael.
you
I
know
know Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, I know Michael. Yeah.
And
So, for anyone who doesn't know, any Americans watching, bangers and mash is basically sausages and mashed potato.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Does it come with gravy?
yes.
Yeah. Right, there you go. Good. Right. So we're basically saying like your rental accommodation, all that comes to about the 12,000 mark
Right.
with the Wi-Fi and all that kind of thing. So your food, you cook a lot at home.
Right.
You eat out once a week,
Right.
sometimes twice a week.
Yeah.
So what is your overall budget then for living here? What does it cost you to live here a month?
The overall budget, with just basic bills and everything, I try to save so much per week. So I allow myself 5,000 pesos a week
To spend on yourself.
to spend on myself.
In addition, thinking about it, though, in addition to your like house and that, you've got a car.
I have a car.
Have you got a bike as well?
I have a motorbike as well.
So you've got a motorbike and a car as well.
Right.
So well that's good. How much does that cost you roughly? You bought that in cash, haven't you? You paid for that
Yeah, I
already,
paid
so
cash
that's
for
not a
those.
monthly expense. Right.
But
So,
the gas prices here go up and down. So, but I can fill that up for about 1,500 pesos and run it for like 2 weeks. I don't drive that much. It's just if somebody comes and visits, I take them on a tour and stuff. I usually ask somebody for 300 pesos to throw in the gas tank, you know, because I like to maintain a certain level on that gas gauge.
very sensible, very sensible.
I usually say, you're not going to get a tour that cheap. And so it's no problem. I've never had any problem with that. People are more than willing to, you know, help out with a tour. I try to take them to places they're interested in and try to go to places that aren't so touristy. I take them to the touristy places, but I let them go down there. I've been there a dozen times. So I go have a beer and let them go and do their thing. And I know some of the locals at all the places now, so we go and have a chat.
So, I mean, what would you say percentage-wise? Do you spend your time socialising with Western people and with Filipinos? Is it more with Filipinos or more with Western, or an equal amount? Or?
It's probably an equal amount. There's some locals here that, like at Rena's place where I saw you before. She's like my best friend, Filipina, and I go hang out there because it's quiet.
See, now you've said that,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put the link to Rena's interview at the end of this one.
Yeah.
In case anyone's not met Rena.
Because a lot of times I like to just sit there and people will walk by, or people will come in, some of the locals, I know all the locals in that area, and we'll shoot billiards, have fun, just tell stories and things, what happened that week. And it's just a fun place that I don't need a whole bunch of people around. And a lot of times I come to, if I socialize with Americans now, I come down to Rum Bar because I have several friends here that they'll send me a message and says, we're down to Rum Bar. So I'll come down here and listen to music, whatever, talk, tell a whole bunch of lies. And then just be on my way home. I usually don't stay too late. Because after drinking a few beers, you don't want to be driving. Just, you know.
No, that's true. That's true.
It's so difficult with dogs in the road and people walking alongside the road in the dark. I would never want to have an accident.
No.
So it's just better to be careful.
Very wise, very wise. That's why I haven't got a car. I agree with you entirely. So your food that you cook in the house, like, you know, your budget for that, what's that, about $150, $200 in a month?
About 150.
150. And you're going out for a meal once a week, maybe two sometimes.
Yeah, I usually allow myself with a meal and maybe having a beer, no more than 500 pesos.
Okay. And you go out how many nights a week?
1 to 2, no more than that. I spend a lot of time at home.
Is that because you like it?
Yeah, I enjoy solitude.
That's good. Because I mean, the question I'm getting at now is, I've done a couple of videos saying, can you live in the Philippines for $1,000 a month? And the answer is yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
I could, but I wouldn't enjoy it, because what I'm saying to you is, to live on that amount, I would have to make sacrifices. I would have to, like, you know, pace myself. Think, right, I can only eat out this week. You know, I can only drink so much this night, or go to so many places. But for some people that works because they don't want to go out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, yeah, you could live on $1,000 a month quite easily, but you would have to be conscious of what you're spending.
That's very true.
If you don't want to worry about that, then I think about $1,500 to $2,000 a month.
Yep.
Then you don't have to worry about things.
Yeah, if you want to do things like that, I would recommend that also, about 1,500 to 2,000, and it's way more comfortable. I have a certain amount of money in the bank that I do not touch for emergencies. That's what I recommend also to people. You better have some money stashed away in case anything happens to you, medical
Yeah.
or emergency to go home or something like that, death in the family, whatever. You can't go past that. You have to live on the budget that you have. Sure, I could constantly give myself money and this and that and the other and then deplete my savings, but you can't do that. You have to keep a nest egg. And I recommend no less than $5,000.
Dollars in the bank. Yeah.
Because a medical emergency here is not expensive as it is maybe in your home country, but it can be. For instance, a friend of mine, severe motorcycle accident, they had to take him to Dumaguete, and he was hospital for a week. And that would have been thousands of dollars in the U.S. And here it was about 200,000 pesos.
Really?
So that's still a substantial amount.
Yeah, but this is a thing coming from the UK, and I think it's most European countries. We don't pay for healthcare. So if you have an accident over there, it doesn't cost you anything. If you get sick over there, it doesn't cost you anything. So it's quite a strange mindset when you go abroad and think, right, I have to have money to keep me safe and that, because we're just not used to it. And when people are saying like, well, it cost me this amount, but it cost me that at home, you're thinking, well, that amount's a lot more than I would have paid if I was at home. So what I'm saying is, I think a lot of Americans, Canadians, etc., Australians, they understand about keeping the money for the accident.
Right.
For a European mindset, that's a new thing to have to think about. It's a new thing to worry about, you know what I mean? But you have to have the money, fellas. You've got to have the money in the bank.
It's just, you can buy health insurance here. I would recommend the PhilHealth does not pay much. I've had so many people have trouble with that. And one friend of mine up, and an American up that gives Philippine Info Channel, his name is Steve. He's in Batangas and Luzon. He recommends Pacific Life in the Philippines. It's $300 a year for 30,000 pesos. And for 100,000 pesos, it's $1,000. And if you want to go ahead and spend that, that's another option.
So I'm a bit confused. Explain that to me again. Well, what it says $300 what? $300
$300
a year.
A year.
And what do you get for that?
And you get 30,000 pesos.
If you have an accident, you're covered up to 30,000.
Right, you're covered up to 30,000.
Oh, that's good.
You know, and that'll cover most, minor accidents. And if you pay 1,000 a year, it covers you for 100,000 pesos, which is a considerable amount.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a chat now rather than an interview. I hope you don't mind, fellas. Yeah, I can't get my head around that, you see, because I don't know how long I can keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't have health insurance. I've got the travel insurance. I've got like a 12-month backpacking policy.
Right.
And that's cost me £525. But it covers me up to £15 million if I have an accident.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's another good option.
Yeah, but I don't know how long you can keep doing it. You can get 18 months. At some stage, it might run out. But when I look at the health insurance, and the reason I wanted the travel insurance is because obviously that covers me for my baggage and all the rest of it. But when you look at it face value, the travel insurance seems a hell of a lot better value than the health insurance. It really does. Because I mean, as you say, 30,000 pesos, that's a minor accident. That's not a heart attack or a stroke.
No.
You know, it's but yeah, I don't know how that works, but yeah, I'll have to look into that. But it's amazing how much better coverage you get with the travel insurance.
Yeah, I always got traveler's insurance when I travel. Just a certain policy for a certain period of time. Not very extended or anything like that. But I just learned that for so many reasons. You don't know what's going to happen. Cancellations or anything like that, you're covered. Or if anything happens on your trip, you're covered. I just recommend that to people when you buy your ticket, at the time you buy your ticket, get traveler's insurance.
And get a good policy. I'll tell you this now, fellas. I've got what they call a 5-star policy, which means it's one of the best ones you can get. I could have got one for the whole 12 months, a 2-star policy, for about £275. But when you start reading the small print, you can only go to certain hospitals, and you've got to get it approved and that. In my personal opinion, if you can afford it, I know you probably never use it, and the money's gone, but get a 5-star, because you may well find you have an accident or something like that, and they're not going to help you at all. You want a good policy that you're reasonably sure is going to pay out.
Especially if you plan on riding a motorbike.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
No, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen with these dogs and that over here. Or if you're riding in Dumagetti, by Christ, you're taking your life in your hands over there. So we're talking about, we're basically saying you're living for less than $1,000 a month.
Yep.
Probably quite a bit less than that, in actual fact, when you look at it.
After initial, living expenses, it's probably more like $450 for fun, entertainment. After stocking up food for the month, paying my rent and all my basic stuff, it's probably about $400 for fun and.
Well, from what you've said, when we put it all together, it's about the $800 mark when you put the bills and that on, and the food and things.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's about $800.
Well, that's that
But being older, I'm not so much. I don't want to go hang out in the bars every night. I don't want to go, hang out with a bunch of buddies or something like that all the time.
What you're saying is you don't want to live like me.
Yeah. So it's, and when I take trips, I have a car and everything. I can just go anywhere I want, and it doesn't cost hardly anything to just go with a friend or something like that, and go up in the mountains and explore new places on my own. I enjoy things like that because going to the mountains, it's peace. Just park somewhere and sit next to a river or next to something and just take lunch, have a little picnic.
Now, I'm going to make an assumption here, but it's kind of an educated assumption because we've been out a few beers a few times, so I know a bit about your life. I'm not going to ask you how much your pension rate is because that's none of my business, but you're kind of living the way you're living because you've got certain financial restraints, you know what I mean, in terms of what your income and that is.
Right.
So the question would be to you, if you didn't have those restraints, say you had like $4,000 a month coming in, how would your life change? What would you do differently? I mean, or would you still be living a similar lifestyle?
I probably would. What I would do differently is probably plan a trip somewhere every month.
So you travel more?
I would travel more because there's many islands now that I haven't seen, and there are a few places I would like to visit that I haven't already seen. Because when I came on holiday, I just went all over the place in the Visayas. But there's some outside in the north that I would love to go travel. I have no interest going to Boracay or Siargao or anything like that. It's just, those are tourist traps. I have no interest in going there. I wouldn't mind going to Palawan. I've heard good things about Palawan. I wouldn't mind going to Palawan. And eventually I want to get up to Bacolod and Iloilo City, up in the northern Negros. And someday I want to go to Mindanao.
It's funny you say that because the last week I was in Dumagetti, a couple of people told me Bacolod's a really nice place to live, a lot better than Dumagetti. So I'd like to go there one day and see what that's like. So I've heard good things about it.
Well, my friend that lives here now came from there. He lived there for several years, and it's if you want a little bit better nightlife, and there's a lot to do, restaurants and things like that. And there's a lot in the area, more things to see in the northern part as far as getting out into nature. And he said the beaches are amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So you're not losing anything going up there. It is a bigger city though.
It's bigger than Dumagetti?
Huh? It's just a little bit.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to have, now you've said that, you've made my mind up, I'm going to have to go there. I'm going to have to give that a go.
Yeah, his wife was from there. That's where they got married, in Bacolod. And he said he loved it there, but he wanted to find new places. And he'd heard about Siquijor. And he went to Dumagetti first and lived there for a short period of time. Then he finally came to Siquijor and he just went, that's it. just like I did. I know so many
I,
people that have done that.
I was the same. I was
It
the
just, I love the quiet, the slow pace, and there's traffic only 2 times a day. Here, if you have to wait for 5 cars, you go, oh Jesus, this traffic is horrible.
Yeah, no, I was the same. When I came here, my plan was to spend a month on 6 islands, find the island I like the best, and then give it a year and decide whether I was going to stay in the Philippines or go back to Thailand. Got to Dumaguete, did the month there, thought, this is not me. Got to Sick Hill, within a day of getting off the ferry, I said, I don't need to see any other islands. This is me.
Yep,
This is the place.
And that's the problem with people coming here. You're not going to want to leave. I know one gentleman that moved here, he came 14 years ago to visit a friend. He went back to Australia, sold all of his businesses, sold his house, and he moved here, and he's been here ever since.
A lot of people have,
A lot of people have done the same thing. A lot of my friends from Australia and from different countries, they just came, they said, this is it.
That's why it's so bloody hard to get an apartment or anywhere to live now, because they're like, they go so bloody quickly.
It's the high season now, too, with tourists, so a lot of these people come for a month and snatch them up.
Yeah. So, if you'd stayed in Montana, if you were had to go back to Montana now, what would your lifestyle be like that compared to here?
I would probably be living with relatives.
Really? It's that expensive?
Yeah, it's that expensive. My brother still lives there, and he has a military retirement plus his Social Security, and he says he's just scraping by, and he makes about $4 grand a month.
Really?
And he has his own house. It's bought and paid for, but his house was $300,000.
It's the same in the UK.
And rent over there went so high that I would have to live in a caravan and have a truck to pull it around and go from place to place.
Really?
So
you don't have any plans on going back then?
I have no plans on going back there. Well, see, that was my plan originally. I was going to get a camper, just a medium-sized one, and I was going to travel for a year. I was going to go down south in the winter and then come back up north and to make a huge circle around the U.S. and just travel. I was going to do that for the first year, but the plans changed when I met somebody here, and I had so many good friends. I said, well, the prices drove me out.
See, we should add that to the thing now, because I didn't mention it. You're single, aren't you? So
Yes.
Your expenses are based on being a single man.
Right. My expenses are based on being single. If you have a girlfriend, you double that.
Because you did have a girlfriend.
I've had 2.
Yeah. So how much? So your living costs were close to the 1,600 mark then, were they?
Yeah, it was more than that. Yeah.
Right. Really?
Yeah. Because the first girlfriend was a province girl, and if you get in with a province girl, they want you to help the family. And she was trying to get $3,000 a week out of me
Pesos.
to help her family.
Yeah.
Pesos.
Yeah.
3,000 pesos a week to help them. And after a while, I just told her, I can't do this anymore. It's just such a drain on me, and I'm not your personal ATM machine. And so I broke up with her. And because I tell most women here that I see now, if they don't have a job or aren't looking for a job,
That's your red flag.
that's my red flag. That's what you want to watch out for, those ones that just want to live off of you. They're not responsible enough to hold down a job, or they're in between jobs. You just want to be mindful of that.
No, very, very, very wise.
Yeah.
One last question, then we'll wrap it up. Because you've been here longer. I think you've definitely been here longer than any other expat I've interviewed. Most of the guys have only been here a few months. And obviously the Filipinos have lived there their whole lives. The Filipinos I've interviewed. But what's the worst thing about living in Sick Hill? I mean, I know you love it. It's a perfect place. But there must be some things that aren't, that are real pain.
Probably if you go to a government office, it's plan on being patient and spending some time there. Like, let's say the Land Transportation Office, what we call LTO. To get my driver's license, it was probably 2.5 hours. to get a driver's license.
And that was transferring over, was it?
That was just getting a new one. I already had my U.S. driver's license. I didn't have to take a test or anything like that. It was just transferring it over. But that's a necessary thing. And probably it's the trips to immigration that you need to go over to Dumaguete in the morning, go to immigration early, file your paperwork for extension, and then go mess around in the afternoon, and then come back at 1 o'clock, pick up your passport, and then come home.
Yeah, but why do you do that?
I have friends in
Oh, so you do it for the friends?
Yeah, I go and visit friends.
Okay, no, because
once a month.
The reason I asked that question, anyone who's watching, is I use a visa agency. I use a place called JRC's
They're right next door to immigration.
Next door to immigration. And I worked out to do my like 6-month extension to get my ACR card and all that. They charge about 1,000 pesos. What it would cost to go on the back to me on the boat and waiting around and that. It's just it would cost me more to get back and to do it. So
for people's information, JRC comes here every 2 weeks.
They do every 2 weeks.
They come here every 2 weeks, and like I said, they charge 1,000 pesos, and you get next time they come back, they bring your passport back.
Yeah, they
Personally, I don't like to have my passport out of my possession.
Really? See, I'm the opposite. They've had mine for the last 6 months,
Yeah.
and they keep messaging me and saying, "Do you want it?" I say, "No, I'll lose it. You keep hold of it there."
Oh,
No,
no,
I've got the photocopy.
I had a very bad incident happen to me last time I was here. A girl I was with took it and was holding me hostage.
Well, that's why I leave mine in JRC's, mate. That's what I'm
You
saying.
know, well, I learned my lesson, and this old guy that lived here for 30 years told me, "You keep that passport right next to your private parts." And I have it in a secure place in my apartment.
How did you sort the problem out with the girl then?
I told her, I messaged her and said, she called, and I told her, well, I'm on my way to Cebu to get a new passport. And she goes, no, come here, I'll give it back to you.
Okay.
So I did, and went and stayed in a hotel, and separate beds, and she gave my passport back, and the next day I came back to Cebu.
The reason I asked that question is now I may be talking crap now, but one thing that's fascinated me when I watch the old vlogs and talking to some people over here, because my natural reaction in the UK, if there was a problem, you go to the police or you do this or whatever. But a lot of people have said you go and see the barangay captains.
You go see the barangay captains.
They sort things like that out. They'll get the.
They want to take care of it before you go to the police.
Exactly, yeah. So if you've gone to the barangay captain, they will probably have phoned her up and.
Or if you've been assaulted or robbed, or if you're in an accident, that would be the cases that you would go to the police. But if it's a dispute with the local or something local, you go to the barangay captain, and then they have a meeting with the person, and then they work it out, some kind of agreement.
And have you ever done that?
No.
No, but you've heard good things.
I mind my own business.
Yeah. No.
I'm a mellow person. I don't get into fights. I don't get into arguments.
No,
I don't look for trouble.
I don't either. It's just I've just seen a few vlogs where people have like gotten terrible messes and they've gone to the barangay captain. I suppose it depends where you are, which captain it is, and whatever. But they've been really helpful to the Westerner. They haven't like taken the side of the Filipino. They've looked and seen who's in the right, and they've gone with whoever's in the right. So I mean that's interesting. So you've got a YouTube channel.
Yes, I do.
What's it called?
It's called Robert Camp.
Robert Camp.
Yep.
And is it just in Sikihor or?
I started out in Sikihor, but I've done in Dumaguete, and I did mostly on my vacations when I first, but now it's just primarily Sikihor.
And is it vlogging or is it more like you just talking, or I mean what?
Oh, it's places that I go visit. I take my camera with me, and I don't really sit and talk, about things. It's usually when I'm going somewhere. I've got the setup now that I'm going to begin this year. I purchased a green screen and lights.
You're going all fancy.
And I have a fancy microphone. So I'm going to be doing more talking about life here.
Okay, that's be interesting.
And I'm gonna try that very soon. I'm just waiting for some things to happen. That there's construction right now next to my house,
There's always construction in the
and
Philippines.
it's not going to be a quiet, situation. So as soon as they finish that house, I mean, it's literally right there. I mean, so there's just too much noise right now. I have a certain place in between that there's no chickens. So I have a window of opportunity there that I've been mapping this out and planning this out. So that's going to come very soon.
Right, well, I've subscribed to Robert's channel for quite a while now. That's how I got in touch with him. So it's Robert Camp, and get yourselves over there, fellas. Subscribe to the channel, and you can find out a lot more about Sikihor. Well, thanks for sitting down with us, Robert. It's been
Well, thanks for having me.
no, mate. It's been a really interesting interview. A lot of useful information. Usually at this point, I would say thanks for watching. I'm going to say it anyway. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you subscribed, you make me feel very happy. I'm not going to do the old stay safe, be lucky, because what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to end it now. I'm going to stop the interview, but it is such a beautiful day here. I'm going to add a couple of minutes of, I'm going to film the sea. I'm going to switch the camera off and just show you what the beach is like. So it's not over until it's over. Okay? So, as promised, when you come to the Rambo, you can have a nice lovely beer or a cocktail or a soft drink, whatever floats your boat, and you can sit and you can look out at this. Gorgeous. I could come down here every day. I don't, not every day, but never get bored of this. It is such a beautiful beach. Amazing. And that, fellas, is why I love Sikihor so much. Anyway, get yourselves over here. Come down to Rumbar and enjoy yourselves. Thanks for watching. Be lucky.